There's a doctor in Chicago making $380,000 a year. She drives a leased BMW. Her kids go to private school. She eats at restaurants most weeknights. Her mortgage is $4,200 a month. On paper, she looks like someone who has figured it out. In reality, she cannot come up with $5,000 without selling something or going into debt. This is not a hypothetical. According to a 2025 Goldman Sachs report, 41% of Americans earning between $300,000 and $500,000 live paycheck to paycheck. 40% of those earning over $500,000 report the exact same thing. 4 out of 10 people making $500,000 a year feel they have no financial cushion. They earn more in a single month than many Americans earn in an entire year. Yet they carry the same anxiety as someone making a fraction of their salary. The assumption most people carry is that income solves financial problems. Hit 6 figures and the stress disappears. Cross 500,000 and money becomes irrelevant. The data tells a completely different story. What you're witnessing is called the high-income poverty trap. People earn more, spend more, save the same percentage of nothing, and wake up at 55 wondering where it all went. The trap doesn't care how much you make. It only cares how much you keep. In this video, I'll show you exactly how the trap works, who falls into it, and how to know if you're already caught. If you want honest breakdowns like this every week, hit subscribe to Naomi Capital right now. Let's get into it. The numbers are deeply counterintuitive. Americans earning $100,000 annually are actually more likely to report living paycheck to paycheck than those earning $50,000. A PIMP study found 48% of 100,000 plus earners feel this way. Among 200,000 plus earners, 36% say the same. Bank of America found that 20% of households earning over $150,000 spend more than 95% of income on necessities. These aren't people who can't do math. They're doctors, lawyers, engineers. They understand compound interest. They know they should save more. The trap operates on psychology, not arithmetic. When income increases, spending increases in perfect proportion. A $15 lunch becomes a $25 lunch. The Honda becomes a BMW. The apartment becomes a house with guest rooms nobody uses. Each upgrade feels reasonable. You earned it. The math technically works, but the upgrades compound while savings stay flat. Once a luxury becomes routine, downgrading feels like deprivation rather than simply returning to normal. That psychological lock-in is where the trap closes. The research on actual millionaires tells a completely different story. 94% of millionaires live in middle-class or modest neighborhoods. 62% still budget and shop deals after crossing the $1 million mark. The typical millionaire has never spent more than $399 on a single piece of clothing. Warren Buffett still lives in the same house he bought in 1958 for $31,500. The people who actually accumulate wealth look nothing like the people who appear wealthy. The doctor in the leased BMW looks richer than the plumber in a 10-year-old truck, but the plumber has $2 million in investments. The Millionaire Next Door formula: multiply your age by your annual income, divide by 10. That's your expected net worth. A 50-year-old earning $250,000 should have approximately $1.25 million. Most high earners fail this test dramatically. Schwab's 2025 Modern Wealth Survey found Americans believe they need $2.3 million to be considered wealthy and $839,000 just to feel comfortable. The actual median U.S. household net worth is $193,000. When you earn $400,000 but have a net worth of only $300,000, you don't feel wealthy. You feel behind. The hedonic treadmill keeps moving. 63% say it takes more money to feel wealthy today than last year. The goalposts never stop moving, and no amount ever feels like enough. Quick pause. If this is landing differently than most financial content you've seen, hit like and subscribe to Naomi Capital. One honest breakdown every week. No hype. Let's finish this. High-income households earning over $100,000 had an average credit card balance of $12,760 in 2025. The top 20% of earners hold 35% of total U.S. credit card debt, despite being a smaller share of the population. Lower income households use credit to survive. Higher income households use credit to maintain, financing a lifestyle that technically fits their income but leaves zero margin for error. Both end up in the same place, owing money with interest accruing. Total U.S. credit card debt hit $1.277 trillion in Q4 2025, the highest since 1999, up 66% from pandemic lows. 61% of Americans with credit card debt have been carrying it for at least a year. Debt is becoming chronic, not temporary. The fixed cost trap is particularly brutal. A family earning $80,000 spends $2,000 monthly on housing. A family earning $300,000 spends $8,000. Both have roughly the same percentage going to shelter. Both feel equally constrained, just with bigger numbers. Private school tuition, multiple car payments, vacation home costs, country club memberships, these function like fixed costs once established. Pulling a child from private school feels impossible. Selling the vacation home feels like failure. The trap tightens precisely because the lifestyle is so hard to reverse. The U.S. personal savings rate was 3.6% in December 2025. Americans saving $3.60 of every hundred in disposable income. In April 2020, that number hit 33.8%. When stimulus arrived and spending disappeared, Americans accidentally experienced aggressive saving. That money is gone now. Higher earners save more in absolute dollars, but the same anemic savings rate because spending scales with income. Someone at $75,000 saving 4% puts away $3,000 a year. Someone at $300,000 saving 4% puts away $12,000, 4 times more, but equally vulnerable to any disruption. Actual wealth accumulators invest at least 15% before paying for anything else. They pay themselves first. The difference between 4% and 15% over 30 years is the difference between a modest cushion and real, lasting wealth. Goldman Sachs explicitly cited keeping up with the Joneses as a primary driver of paycheck-to-paycheck living among high earners. Food delivery alone costs the average person $2,148 a year. Add streaming, rideshare, subscriptions, premium apps, and you're looking at significant money disappearing without any lasting value. High income version, same psychology, bigger numbers, first class instead of economy, hotels instead of Airbnb, restaurant instead of home cooking. Together, they build a lifestyle that requires every dollar to maintain. The escape is simple, but it requires one uncomfortable question. What is all this spending actually for? The doctor at $380,000 could save $100,000 a year. She earns enough. She just spends enough to prevent it. The BMW can be a Honda. Private school might not actually be necessary. Restaurants every night serve convenience more than nutrition. The house with guest rooms mostly impresses people who don't affect her long-term happiness. These aren't judgments, they're trade-offs made visible. Spend on what you genuinely value, consciously knowing the opportunity cost. Not automatically because that's what people at your income level are supposed to do. The rule is simple. Saving what's left after spending doesn't work. Spending what's left after saving does. Someone earning 400,000 who automates 120,000 into investments still lives on 280,000. An exceptional life by any measure. The other person earns the same and saves nothing. After 20 years, the saver has generational wealth. The spender has lifestyle memories and minimal assets. The math: 300,000 income, 30% savings rate, 7% returns over 20 years, roughly $4 million. Same income, 5% savings rate, approximately 650,000. The difference is $3,350,000. That is the real cost of the high-income poverty trap over 2 decades. 77% of Americans don't feel financially comfortable regardless of what they earn. 40% of people making $500,000 live paycheck to paycheck. Credit card debt is at all-time highs while incomes remain near record levels. Income alone has never solved financial problems. Only intentional choices about what portion to keep rather than spend create the security that most high earners assume their salary automatically delivers. The trap is real. Breaking it is entirely possible. But it starts with admitting one uncomfortable truth. More money was never the answer. What you do with money always was. If this reframed how you think about income and wealth, do 2 things. Hit subscribe to Naomi Capital and turn on the bell. One honest, no fluff breakdown every week on money, investing, and the psychology of real wealth. And drop a comment. Do you recognize any part of the high-income poverty trap in your own life? And what is the one spending pattern you already know needs to change? I read every comment, and I'll see you in the next video.